Hello, I'm Kimberlie, and welcome to the weekend edition of the Nave News Update. It's Friday, February 19th, and many of the stories you hear here can be found at IndianCountryTV. And here's the news for today from the Associated Press and other Native news sources. The first climate refugees in America live on a sliver of land that is rapidly disappearing into the Gulf of Mexico. Residing on the Louisiana Bayou about 50 miles south of New Orleans, the Isle des Jean Charles Band of Biloxi, Chitimacha, Choctaw have seen 98% of their traditional lands disappear since 1955 due to the combination of sea level rise, land sinking, oil and gas development, and the related decline in sediment deposition from the Mississippi River. On January 21st, the Obama administration announced that the state of Louisiana will receive about $93 million for climate resilience projects, including enabling this tribal community to relocate. The grant money from the Department of Housing and Urban Development was part of nearly $1 billion in disaster recovery funds granted to 13 states and local communities to recover from prior disasters in a way that makes them more disaster resilient. A HUD official said this is the first time the department has ever funded a community's relocation due specifically to climate change. Aboriginal Peoples Television Network, a cable channel based in Canada that is dedicated exclusively to content for Indigenous peoples, intends to work to launch All Nations Network, a similar outlet in the United States, that will develop and air TV programs written, produced, and directed by Native Americans, among others. Network distribution in the U.S. is being represented by Castelia Communications. Jean LaRose, APTN's chief executive officer, says they think the time is right for Native Americans to have their own channel. APTN reaches approximately 10 million Canadian households and commercial establishments. It runs children's animation, youth, cultural, and traditional programming, music, drama, news, and current affairs, as well as live coverage of special events and interactive programming. Native American filmmaker Chris Eyre will work closely with All Nations Network to launch in the United States. The new U.S. network will be headquartered in New Mexico. Songs My Brothers Taught Me, written and directed by Chloe Zhao, has been acquired by film and video distributor Kino Labor. With an older brother in jail and living with their single mother, played by actress Irene Bedard, on the Pine Ridge Reservation, Johnny and his sister Jashawn's lives developed new challenges when their absentee cowboy father suddenly dies. The loss prompts Johnny to strike out for Los Angeles, but would mean leaving behind his beloved sister.
Did you hear about Dad?
Yeah.
If there was one thing that you could have said to him before he died, what would it had been?
Probably would have made him stay here instead of heading out.
In an interview with Women in Hollywood, Zhao called her directional debut a complex portrait of modern-day life on the Pine Ridge Reservation that explores the bond between a brother and his younger sister who finds themselves on separate paths to rediscovering the meaning of home. The film screened at Cannes and Sundance and is currently in the running for 3 Independent Spirit Awards, including Best First Film and Best Cinematography. Songs will make its theoretical premiere on March 2nd at New York's Film Forum and will be released this spring. Grammy Award-winning singer-songwriter Joanne Shenandoah needs a new liver after becoming ill with a bacterial infection last summer. Shenandoah of the United Nations in Central New York has set up a GoFundMe account to help pay for costs associated with a transplant. Shenandoah says she contacted the infection after a visit to a hospital last June. She says it spread from her intestines to her kidneys and liver. To learn more, you can go to gofundme.com/Joanne Shenandoah. Canadian pop star Nelly Furtado performed the Canadian national anthem before the NBA All-Star Game in Toronto on February 14th. Performing alongside of her was Native American flutist Tony Duncan.
God keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on
According to Duncan, Nelly could have easily chosen a pre-recorded piano or a guitar track or even a marching band to back her up for the anthem, but then it wouldn't have been Nelly. She wanted to bring a Native representative, and he was honored she chose him. This isn't the first time Duncan performed with Nelly. Not only was he featured in her 2012 video release of her smash hit Big Hoops, he has traveled with her performing his flute and also hoop dancing. And that's another roundup of news from Indian Country on this edition of the Native News Update. I'd like to thank you for joining me and have a grand day.